Welcome to the channel. I'm Red Cloud, bringing you another Disgaea RPG video, and I think we can all agree that the artist who who designed this image, this outfit, this design deserves a pay rise. But we're going to be looking at Lucy's skills, her abilities, checking out how good she is, and she is a gun pawn type unit. So let's look at her abilities first. And her leader ability, Extreme Bikini. Yes, it really is an Extreme Bikini. All allies, basic stats plus 12%. Nice start to her abilities. It's basic stats and it's a basic ability. We expect these sort of abilities straight away from leader ones. 12% might not be the highest one we see of these, but I will happily take it. Her NE +1 Summer Burst. All allies. The more surviving allies, damage dealt increased up to 18% for 5 allies. Very nice ability. Lucy has a couple of these abilities which relate to allies being alive. It just means that 18% is going to decrease gradually if allies start to die. So do your best to keep your allies alive so you get the full benefit of this 18%. Her NE +5 Extreme Custom Squirt Gun. I mean, who wrote the names of these abilities? Summer Burst and Extreme Squirt. I mean, they've done that on purpose for sure. Anyway, all allies. If the unit is equipped with a gun at the start of the battle, attack and resistance plus 20% for 5 turns. So this is just a start of battle sort of buff. Once those 5 turns have gone, then the buff is also gone. But in terms of content these days, 5 turns is all we tend to need, so it's nothing too much to worry about. This is her only ability which ties her into using a gun. I would say you probably can build her however you like. I wouldn't worry too much because it is only 20% attack and resistance. It's nice if you do decide to build her as a gun, but if you don't, it's not the end of the world. And then her NE +7 Magic Summer Avant-Garde. All allies. If 5 or more surviving allies at the end of unit's turn, action gauge plus 100. So all allies are going to receive the action gauge plus 100 if there are 5 or more surviving allies. Pretty simple. Again, like Summer Burst, keep all allies alive. If you have some weaker ones, equip them with defense buffing and resistance buffing gear to keep them alive as long as you possibly can. This one I do quite like because it does happen at the end of every turn. So not just the start of wave 1 or end of wave, at the end of every turn that Swimsuit Lucy comes into play, everybody is going to get the action gauge plus 100. So going to help you being quite zippy around the action gauge. So a decent ability in my eyes. So let's look at her skills next. She has Fallen Aqua Gun, a G+ to F damage AoE move. It is water based, and on top of being AoE damage, there's an AoE debuff for the enemy where it's attack minus 10%. The attack minus 10% doesn't mean too much to me. If I'm using this sort of AoE move, the intention is that we're going to kill the enemy, and if Beach Lucy was unable to kill the enemy, then I would probably be using her to buff someone instead of trying to do this AoE move. But is there, so item world, that's your item world farming move. Her second skill, Serious Investigation. But this one was a party-wide small HP recovery, as well as buffing attack and defense by up to 25%. And then for a single ally of your choice, you're going to be able to remove that ability seal, which isn't the most useful because there's not a lot of content with that on. We have Awakened Killia's Advent, but by this point in the game, I mean, even newcomers should be able to quite easily beat that because we can beat the Dark Gates easily by taking a friend unit and beating the higher gates. So our level should be quite significantly higher than Awakened Killia's. There may be the odd boss in the future that can still do ability seal, but it's nothing to really worry about that much. I would not say focus on summoning for this unit just for that ability seal removal. That's just an added bonus to having the attack and defense buff. And her final skill, Aqua Gun Burst, a B to B+ single damage move. This one is also water based like the previous move. 50 SP cost down to 39, so fairly reasonable costs. This one also has the added wording of it is going to remove a barrier from the raid enemy by -1, and on top of that, if the enemy is weak to water, this is going to be a -2 barrier count, because the minus move is going to remove 1 barrier and the barrier count removal itself is going to remove a 2nd barrier. So it's quite nice if the enemy is weak to water. And on top of that, if the barrier count is already at 0, instead she can't remove barrier, can she? Let's give the enemy a debuff of defense -50%. This is going to be very good, because then your DPS unit can come in and there's no need to have a mega armor break unit in the team, because Lucy is already there with this defense -50%. So very happy with that skill. On to her magic spells, and she is bringing 3 ice spells. Don't care for them, not going to use them. She has Espoir, Braveheart and Mega Braveheart. They are more important to me. Espoir is nice. Shame she doesn't have Mega Espoir, but we can't have everything. And Mega Braveheart as a support unit, which she pretty much is, her Mega Braveheart is very good as well. So your DPS unit is going to be getting that buff, which is fantastic. So Lucy. What a unit. Who is summoning for Lucy? Right now, I'm just thinking about the thumbnail for YouTube, and I'm probably going to have to cover her up, because that's probably too much for the YouTube to allow on show. There's not a lot of bikini bottom and there's not a lot of bikini top, so we have to cover her up. But let me know in the comments, what do you think of the unit as a whole, not just the look of it, and will you be summoning, as she is a platinum unit on her own banner? But let me know below, and if you did enjoy the video, please do hit like and subscribe, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.